Good morning, friends, and welcome. Welcome to Sunday morning webinar with Franchise India. I am Gaurav, Marya, Chairman of Franchise India Group. So, friends, this is a 30-minute webinar. We're going to talk about how to start your own business and how to do it successful one. This is a special series we started called Successpreneur. This series, the whole objective of the series is that if I can share my learning experience of 25 years of helping people choosing the right business and also how to really run and operate a business for a profitable and a profitable exit. So friends, what are we going to discuss in this webinar? We're going to talk about how to choose the right opportunity. What is the right opportunity available in the market? Is franchising right for you? And also how to finance your business and so on and so forth. But we'd like to make it very, very interactive. So you can use the Q&A box. There is a Q&A box at the bottom, which you can use for asking as many questions you want to do. And your questions can be based on any opportunity which is running in your mind or any business or a brand which you have selected. You want my opinion on that, or even largely around the business models, financial models, any kind of legal structure which you comes to your mind, because how do you structure your legal agreements are also very, very important. You know, friends, we started this series because we get so many people joining us through our webinars, our seminars. Today also we have many shows happening across India. And when we see the data tells us that about over 100,000, 1 lakh over people really come to Franchise India every single month. And these are people who are looking to start something for themselves. They want to start their entrepreneurial journey. And a very little out of that really actually gets started. Why the others are not able to take that very important plunge or decision? Because they're not too sure. They're not too sure about the opportunity. They're not too sure about that is it the right time for them to start a business, or they are not even sure that is the right opportunity which they have selected would work for them. So they come with a lot of fears, anxiety, a lot of complexity around them, so that they're not able to take the decision of starting their entrepreneurial journey. And a lot of people I know, especially professionals, people who are working somewhere, find it even more difficult to take that decision. And it should be, it is a complex decision, I agree with that. But there, if you put a process and system, you will be able to overcome that and you will be able to make the right decision. So what we're going to talk about is the 10 steps in terms of how you really choose the right opportunity and how do you make your business worthwhile. Because buying a business is just not a decision, financial decision for you. It's also a decision which involves your lot of things around you, your social piece, your family piece, everything gets along with it. And if it is a successful one, it really impacts all. It impacts your financial position. It impacts your social position. It takes a lot of things in your family and your vision. But if it goes wrong, which means that the business is not done well, I know it can break all of that. So it's a very important decision that how do you take a decision? And especially I see 60% of all business buyers have no experience in the business they're getting into. Rather, out of that 60%, 40% are first-time business buyers. They've never done business. Others are diversifying or looking at a newer opportunity. So 60% of people who venture into any business have not have experience on a particular industry they venture. So they would go through even their business experience, but they have never done that particular industry. So they would pass through a learning curve, and that learning curve can be very, very complex and difficult if it is not well structured and done. I have in my life done many businesses, and I can tell you the businesses which were successful for me, I had a detailed business and a financial plan. And business which I failed were businesses which were done on impulsiveness, just looked at an opportunity and invested into an opportunity without having depth in that. Not that the businesses or the industries I chose was wrong, but I was not ready for that. So that's very, very important, how you are ready to get into an opportunity. So that really starts the first point. The first point is the mindset. Are you in the right mindset to start your entrepreneurial journey? And this is something which I will do it with a question, and you all have to answer in the Q&A. How many of you have a firm date? Very, understand it carefully. Firm date in your mind when you want to start your business. How many of you have a firm date? It can be 60 days, 90 days, 120 days, 150 days, any date which comes to your mind. It can be 1st January 2023, any date which comes in. And give me an honest answer. If there is a date, then give me an answer. If you don't have that date, then also give me an answer that you don't have a firm date. That would really tell you where your mindset is. You're spending your quality time, Sunday morning, taking out from your family, investing into a business webinar. And if you don't have that date, you're not even starting off as your entrepreneurial journey. That's one of the areas which I feel a big problem. People get into this whole exploring of an opportunity, but they don't have a date. If you have a date, give me in a Q&A box. And I know I've tried this with many, many people. People don't have a firm date. And this is really the starting point, which you need to really do today. You need to put, somebody says, I want to start within this year. It's good. Subhav wants to start this business in this year. So he at least have a mindset that he wants to start something within this year. But I would further go, Subhav, put a date to it. It may be an important day in your life where you want to really set yourself. It may be your birthday, your wife's birthday, your father's birthday, or mother's birthday, whosoever it is. Put that date in mind, and then we start working towards that goal. And that goal really is the starting point. And this is something message I give from every webinar I do, that unless and until you have that date in mind, it will never come. It will never happen. You will keep exploring without having any goals to achieve. So date, I further define also. D stands for discipline. D is a discipline. You need to become very disciplined towards your entrepreneurial journey. A stands for accountability. You need to set yourself accountable. T stands for training. We are not trained in our formal education to become an entrepreneur. We are trained to become doing a job for somebody else or working for somebody else. We are not trained to be an entrepreneur. And we are now starting an entrepreneurial journey. So our education is not going to come handy with us. So you need to train yourself to become an entrepreneur. If you've not done, and that's what used to be done in the Marwadi families. When the kids are young, they are brought back to business after school or after their college. They have to attend that. Slowly, slowly, they start getting into that. Rupam wants to start in October 2022. Good, Rupam, that's a good date in your mind. At least you have a firm date. You have now 4 or 5 months to go about it. And you can do, D stands for discipline, A stands for accountability, T stands for training, and E stands for encouragement, which you need to do to yourself every single day. Nobody outside is going to come and encourage you in your entrepreneurial journey. It's a very journey which is done alone, right? So it's maybe your inner family, maybe your family, close family come along with you, but this is a journey which you need to do that. And this journey comes with a lot of questions. That would you be successful? Is this right for you? You are taking right decision. A lot of things which really come to you. And I know it can be very, very difficult. I'm actually advising a couple which used to run a very successful preschool business. And because of COVID, they shut down. And they want to go back to that. And this shutdown was not easy for them. They had huge losses. They took loans on the only property they have. And they want to now again start it. Now, so much of anxiety is there with them that should they start, should they not start? This is the only career opportunity they have. They are only known for this. Is this a right decision for them to take at this moment? So a lot of that. And almost every second day, they call me up and discuss. And the husband and wife have different opinions. Wife is not very happy because her only house is mortgaged under loan. And the husband wants to take another round of loan on that same house. So she feels that she can have a risk of losing that house. So a lot of these things really tell me that it's very, very difficult decision sometimes for people to get into business. So it has to be done very, very carefully. So remember date, D stands for discipline, A stands for accountability, T stands for train yourself hard to become an entrepreneur, and E stands for encouragement. Once you have done that, this is the first step. Then you need to really see how you're ready for your entrepreneurial journey. And readiness really comes further to divide this into many steps. First is, what is your life goal? So for example, Rupam wants to start her entrepreneur or his entrepreneurial journey from October. Now, what is a life goal? What is going to happen in next 5 to 10 years in your life? That's very, very important. Is there important events coming up? Is there some kind of monies which are required with you, which are important decisions in your life, which can be building a house or children marriage or education for children or any other thing which is very, very important coming in next 2 to 3, 5 years, and how you're going to fund that. So your life goals are very important. Unless and until you define your life goals, especially for next 5 to 10 years, your business goals would not come through. Your business goals actually are there to fulfill your life goals. So first you need to define your life goals. That's very, very important. Second thing, you also understand your risk appetite. How much risk you can really take. And what is a plan B for you? If a business doesn't go as you thought, or it takes more than 6 months because you had only working capital of 6 months, or something else happened, what is a plan B for you? And what really tells you, are you a very high risk stage? Are you mid risk stage? Are you at a very, very low risk stage? I know people who are running EMIs. They come to us when they want to buy a business. Say you're running 2 lakh rupees of salary and you are also sitting on, say, 1 lakh rupee of EMIs going on. So your risk appetite is very low. You cannot risk it because you have to pay the bills, you have to run your family business, and whatever savings you have, you don't want to use it too much. So you want a business which can come in, which can quickly turn around and at least start giving you the 2 lakh rupees, which you can make out of a job. So people start equating that first before they can even really make the higher goals of life. So it's very, very important. And I've seen a lot of people who started business and the 3rd or 4th month, they've gone back to job, which means that they were not really able to handle the risk and they went back to their comfort zone of working for somebody. No human likes to work for somebody. Everybody wants to be free. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. People do it for compulsion because they feel that they cannot afford to leave that job because their livelihood are based on that. So you need to really understand your risk appetite. Third, you need to understand your resources. Very important. What kind of resources you bring to the business. And it's not just the capital. Capital is the least part. This is something, as an example I give. If 100 people start the same brand in the same industry, all 100 would have different results. Which means if you started the same industry with the same brand, like for example, 100 people choose to start Subway as a franchise, all 100 Subways would have different results. So which means the resources outside capital are more important. Why somebody is more successful than somebody not so successful is the kind of resources you bring in. Resources can be your location you bring in, the time you devote to the business, and a lot of other things which are very, very important. How you trained yourself to run and operate that business, that's also very, very important. Your own experience, how you bring your experience to complement the business you're choosing. That's also one of the areas which needs to be done. So when you're choosing a business, always look at your life goals, look at your risk appetite, understand the resources you're bringing in and how you are complementing your past experience on business which you're building up. That would be starting point. And the fifth thing would be larger purpose. Why are you doing it? Every business has to solve a problem. What problem you're trying to solve? What is the larger purpose you want to create? If you are able to put these 5 in order and with your date firm in place, you will set your mindset to get into business. That's very, very important. I think this is a foundational goal. If you are able to put that foundational goal, rest everything would really fit into coming through. So that's the one part. The second part is now how to choose an opportunity. When you're choosing an opportunity, always connect 4 dots. The first dot is the industry you want to choose. Why you're choosing that industry. And today, you have so many options available. Even Franchise India gives you an option of over 1,000 brands in over 200 plus industries and sub-industries, which means that F&B can be one industry, but you can open up a cafe, you can open up a kiosk, you can open a dark kitchen, you can open a microbrewery, you can do many, fine dine, casual dine, multiple other options available in a single industry. So similarly, first when you're choosing the industry, and this is one of the areas which we work in our advisory side, we advise you how to choose the right industry. We typically would like to shortlist 4 industries for you, looking at your experience, looking at the future of the industry, looking at the gestation cycles this industry would have, looking at also a lot of trends which are coming in, and not only India trends, but global trends. Like for example, there is an industry which is very high on demand at this moment, is called e-vehicle, the electric vehicle and electric charging stations. But very interesting industry from a 5-year horizon, but a big gestation cycle, which means that if you start anything in e-vehicle now, you might take a year or 2 years before it becomes meaningful, especially on the charging infrastructure side. E-vehicle for 2-wheeler, I think there is a demand has strong now, very, very strong demand. But on the charging infrastructure side, the demand would still take about a year and a half before it can become, you have enough population of electric vehicles in the market. So if you are investing into something like that, you need to really see that 5-year horizon is good, but a big gestation is there. Similarly, in some other industries, this might be different. So you need to really choose the right industry. Why you're choosing that? What kind of disruption can happen? Because businesses change much faster than they used to do in past. So you need to really also understand what business you're doing, what kind of disruption can happen, is the business model can change, the brand or the business or industry you're choosing would allow you to bring that change. So that's very important. That's choosing the right industry. Then you need to choose the right brand. Why you're choosing this brand over their competition? Every brand has multiple other competitive brands available in the market. Say, for example, you have a location which is good for footwear. Now, from a footwear viewpoint, you can do Nike, Adidas, Skechers, Puma, but you can also do Indian brands like Metro, Mochi, Khadim, Bata, many other brands are available. Why are you want to choose one brand over another brand? That's very important. Today, we have about 12 different big global brands which are available in just footwear alone. So you have so much of option, then why you would choose one brand over another brand has to be really thought through in detail, which means not only just broadly understanding the demand side, but also understanding their business model, understanding their financial model, their support to the market, their overall presence in that region. All that has to be really thought through before we choose the right brand. First, the industry, then the brand. Third is go back to your financial goals or the life goals you've created. Is this business which you have chosen can address that goals, your financial goals? And the finally is really the micro market which you're going to operate. What is a micro market telling you? What kind of competition it exists? If you connect these 4 dots, that would really shortlist the right opportunity for you. Then we get on to the third point, defining the resources which are required to run and operate that business. And resources is just not your talent. It is about everything which is required to run and operate that business. And sometimes when you buy a franchise, you are having a franchisor to guide you what kind of resources you require. But sometimes if you're doing your own startup, you need to do it. You need to understand and put this. So putting a right business plan is extremely important. And this should also mean that you should also put all your legal contracts and everything in place. Once that is done, then housing the right location, which location you want to really start. And that's one very important part, to choose the right location and also understand the critical aspects in your balance sheet is cost of occupancy. Cost of occupancy, what number it should be. Like for F&B, it should not be more than 15% cost of occupancy. But for some other business, it can be very different. For some retail businesses, it can be as high as 25%. And sometimes even lower in some categories where you have lower margins in the business. So you need to really see what is the percentage you can really give away for housing your business, which means cost of occupancy. Like recently, I am advising a school, a great school, great product, great operators, everything, but they've taken a very expensive place to operate. So it can never make sense. They're running on a 280 student level, and I did the financial planning. Even at a 600 student level, they would never make money because the cost of occupancy is extremely high for them for running that school. So you need to really see, sometimes you need to really be very conscious about what kind of a location you really choose and what your business can afford. Finally, how you finance your business. That's also very important. How do you finance the business you want to really do that? And use this 60-40 rule. Any investment which you really predict to bring in a business, which is your capex, should not be more than 60% allocation of the fund you have. Say, for example, if you have 50 lakh rupees available with you for doing the business, your capex investment should not be more than 60% of that 50 lakh rupees, which is 30 lakh rupees. So all your initial investment, including deposits, everything should fit into that 60%. And 40% should be free cash with you, which you can use for operating capital. Because 70% of all businesses which went down, in my life experience, went because of undercapitalized. They were never had enough money to run and operate that business. So that's very important aspect for you, that you really keep and do your right financing. Don't overestimate this entire thing. Don't overestimate that you will start the business in the first month itself, you'll break even and you start getting positive cash flow. That is not going to happen. I have seen, and sometimes franchisors, when you buy a franchise, make tall claims. They show you very successful units of theirs, and you go into and get into a trap where they tell you that you will make money in the 3rd month, you can break even in 6 months, you get your entire fund money invested in 1 year back. All that are wrong claims. I have not seen businesses like that. I mean, there can be rare examples where you can get that kind of returns, but normally you will not. And you get into the trap of investing your money with very high expectations. Don't set those expectations or wrong expectations. Rightly finance your business, and always look at having enough free cash so that you can fund and run and structure the business. Then a very important aspect, which is sixth point, is how to build your team. If you're looking for sustainability of your business model, you need to have every business, you need to have a good co-founder with you. Somebody who would stick with you, work with you, and the initial team members you hire have to be like that. They have to come and bring a lot of integrity. Rather, I say hire for integrity, train for skills. Train for skills, not the other way around. If you hire just for skills with no integrity, you will never be able to do that. Get your foundational team right. That's very important. Then you get into the 4 stages of business. The stage 1 is what I call the incubation and foundation stage. And this is again one of the areas where people go wrong. When they start the business, in the first quarter itself, they do the maximum marketing, a lot of unwanted spend. Because they don't know the business, all that goes into drain. And they are full of complaints that this didn't work and that didn't work, a franchise that didn't support, the brand is not giving me enough marketing, because they don't know the business itself. So the first 3 months, it's a learning curve for you. Don't overindulge yourself. Don't do too much of big launches. Don't do big PR. Don't do big marketing spend. Spend all your time in the business, learning every single department of your business. You need to learn every single thing which happens in your business. This is something which I've learned in my experiences with a lot of these multinational franchise companies. I had fortune to work with Subway, McDonald's, many other companies, and visited their headquarters. So they would have university, and they train every single entrepreneur 2 to 3 months before they can run and operate a business. And this 2 to 3 months is really about taking them from very dependent stage to interdependent stage to independent stage. So they have a very detailed cycle. And this is something which sometimes Indian brands miss. They don't really train their franchisees and entrepreneurs in doing that. So when you're joining a business or taking over a brand, insist that you need to have at least 1 month of training. Even if the basic things are there, you need to learn it, because unless and until you learn completely, because it's going to be your business, you have to run it. Even if I was a brand owner and I come and tell you that you don't have to worry, you just invest, I'm there to look after, you should say no, because it's my business. I need to look after my business. That's very, very important. So invest into that first foundational stage. Once that is done, then go to the stability stage, which business is no more giving you surprises. Your team is getting stable. Your cash flows are stable. You're not having that spikes in your daily sales. So now you are stable in terms of whatever you're doing. And you have brought in a control over your basic cost structures. So that's your stability stage. Normally it would happen from 3 months to 6-9 months. You're stable now. And then the fun part really comes in the third stage, which is your growth stage. You start growing aggressively. And the final is sustainability, where the business can now look after itself, that you are no more required in that business. That is the 4 stages of any business cycle, which you need to do that. Once you have stabilized and the business is sustainable now, then don't do mistake of going and experimenting something else. Entrepreneurs become creative. Every day they have a new idea to do it. I feel the successful entrepreneurs are people who duplicate what they've done successfully. So which means I've actually written a book called A Science of Reproducing Success. If you have something successful, just reproduce. If you build some brand successfully, maybe franchise that brand and build a chain. If you've actually been a franchisee, then buy more franchisees of that. There are a lot of successful people who have multiple franchises. I mean, rather, if you look at US, very, very successful entrepreneurs have 100 Burger King, 100 7-Eleven, and they're very successful. And they have actually duplicated their success and multiplied their success. Rather, Patels from India own most of the motels in US because they learned how to run and operate motel, highway motels and highway hotels, and they are very, very successful. Why they were successful? Because they knew the efficiencies which are required to run a property like that, and they would run at a leanest efficiencies. A big, say a 75-room hotel, they would run with 4 people or 5 people. That's kind of efficiencies they have really learned over the time. And they've mastered that art of managing those hotels, and that's why they're profitable. So you need to really, rather they take over now sick hotels, and turn it around because they know how to run that efficiency. So you need to really start duplicating that success you have. You have to multiply that entire thing. Then you need to really start working on, which is very important today. Every entrepreneur has to really start having a starting point and also having an exit point. Businesses are not permanent. Business would change, and it is good that you plan it. If you plan that you want to start a business right now and give your next 5 years, and after 5 years, you would like to look at an exit from that business. And that also you need to prepare yourself that how do you really prepare your business that the business doesn't need you anymore and you can actually transfer to somebody else and cash out. So this is the journey which you need to really do, from setting your mindset for getting into business, choosing the right business, funding the right business structure, and then getting into building the right team, getting the 4 stages of your running a business, and finally looking at a profitable exit. So friends, how Franchise India really helps you? Franchise India works with you at different stages. Stage 1 is we have a program called Advantage. This Advantage program is specially created for people who are not sure, but they want to start their business, but they're not too sure what business is right for them. So our consultants are based in 94 cities in India, where you can approach them. They would help you to choose the right business opportunity, work with you to structure your business plan, financial plan, do a lot of work with you on legal structuring, because it's very, very important that you're getting into a legal contract. You need to have the right legal advice. Work with you, especially to define the kind of financial projections these businesses need to become, make it very realistic, ask a lot of difficult questions to franchisors on your behalf. All that we do it for you under Advantage program. Advantage program is a membership program where you have to only pay 30,000 rupees plus taxes for 1 year. And this is just a small fee which you pay to get a very seasoned, a very experienced, over 2 decades or 3 decade experienced people to work along with you to choosing the right opportunity. And never do in haste. You have to go through a different stages. The stage 1 is to really, what have we talked about, how to really define what business is right for you. Then stage 2 is really shortlisting, say about 10 brands and meeting those 10 brands and then defining which brand is right for you. And finally is the negotiation. We call it the 3-stage process: information, evaluation, and negotiation process. And this is done in order. First, you get a lot of information, then you evaluate the right opportunity, and finally you negotiate the right opportunity. So if you are interested in starting your entrepreneurial journey, I would say do it very, very carefully. Use Franchise India's team for helping you choose the right opportunity. If you've not been in touch with Franchise India, we have a hotline number, which has been put by my colleague Kanika here. She has put on the chat box. Use that hotline number, send a WhatsApp right away that you want to set up schedule a call, and somebody senior in our team would be doing that. I'm also putting my direct number. And if you feel that any feedback you have or any advice you need, you can send me WhatsApp also. This is 98102 44330. This is my direct number. You can send me a WhatsApp, little bit profile of yours, and I'll make sure that somebody senior from our team is in touch with you. And even if you want to schedule a small short call with me, I'll also set it up over the coming week. So thank you very much. Thanks for your time today. Thank you for joining on Sunday morning Successpreneur webinar. Thank you very much.